Hello, this is Carrie Axtell with the ARC of Fort Bend County, Program Director and Education Advocate. I'm recording this video today to go over some of the questions and concerns that I've been hearing from parents like myself. Right now, with coronavirus and school closures, parents' activities have been disrupted, many are working from home, some have lost their jobs, so there's a lot going on for families right now and a lot of confusion, especially in the area if you have a child with special education. So my hope is to do a couple of videos and answer the questions as they come up to the best of my ability. We always recommend that if you have legal questions, you want to reach out to either an attorney or the state protection advocacy group such as Disability Rights Texas here in Texas. And their website, they can be reached at drtx.org. And then they also have an intake line, and that is 1-800-252-9108. And then there's many private special education attorneys or non-attorney advocates that may also have some guidance for you as well. But here at the ARC of Fort Bend County, we are for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and we seek to educate and empower parents about their special education rights. So one of the questions that I've received from parents is, what if schools don't return back to normal this school year, where my child can go back to school due to the coronavirus? So there's been a couple of guidance documents put out, not only by the Department of Education, but also Texas Education Agency. And in this post, I will also include those, but the Department of Education document looks about like this. And I believe this was released around March the 12th of 2020. And it's a good guidance from the Department of Education about what they see is the appropriate response based on this coronavirus. And then from the TEA, Texas Education Agency, we also received this guidance. This is the most recent one from March 20th, 2020. And it goes over, again, some of the anticipated responses for school districts in order to provide those special education services to students. So if a school building remains closed, but the school district is providing education services to the general student population through an online platform or checking out textbooks and homework packets to students, then the school must make all reasonable efforts to provide services to students with disabilities. This is just equal access. But this not only includes equal access, it also is, they're supposed to make every effort to implement the child's IEP, or Individualized Education Program, and provide the special education services, accommodations, related services like speech, physical therapy, occupational therapy, etc. So an ARD committee, or Admission Review and Dismissal Committee meeting, would be required to discuss either a reduction in or the inability of a school to provide the special education services in the child's IEP. And such a change would be a change in placement, the child's IEP. So that March 20th TEA guidance document also says that the TEA instructs schools to offer either virtual or telephone ARD meetings to discuss the student's needs and implement the IEP through alternative or additional methods if necessary. But then they also state that if the school is unable to meet all of the student's individual needs, the child's IEP may need to be implemented, may need to be amended in the meantime. And then once school reopens, the ARD committee can discuss the possibility of compensatory education services if needed. Although schools may not be physically able to educate the child on the school campus because of school closure, they're still going to be required to provide a free, appropriate public education. The goals, scheduled services, supports, accommodations, all those things are still required in a child's IEP. So when school personnel call to discuss your child's IEP, they may ask if you agree to amend the IEP. And this again would result in a change in placement. Might result in a reduction in the amount or frequency or duration of special education related services, or even lead to homebound instruction. So parents may agree to amend the IEP, but if they do, just be aware that it might later be interpreted that they're agreeing that this reduction in service was educationally appropriate. So in that case, or if you're fearful of that later interpretation, for example, what I'm doing in my own personal case, I am a parent of 3 children, 2 who have had disability, and I've already been contacted by my child's school, and the ARD committee is going to convene. So what I plan to do is basically state that although I recognize it's currently impossible for the school to implement my child's IEP due to the school closure, it doesn't mean that this change in placement of services is what is educationally appropriate for my child. The existing IEP was what was appropriate, but it's impossible for it to be implemented right now. So I understand these are the services that the school is offering, but that I do intend at a later time to seek compensatory services for the disruption in my child's IEP, special education program. And maybe it's extended school year services or some other type of compensatory education services, but we'll discuss it at a later time. So that's one strategy, just from parent to parent, that might be appropriate for you, or it might not. So just again, thoughts, ideas, strategies that might be helpful to parents for you to consider in your own individual circumstances. If you are looking for legal advice, again, we recommend you contact either Disability Rights Texas, the state protection and advocacy group, or a special education attorney or non-attorney advocate that might have additional perspectives to share with you. And if you'd like to reach me here at the ARC of Fort Bend County, you can email your questions to info@arc, A-R-C, of fortbend.org. And we look forward to serving you and seeing you then. Everybody be safe.